Hey Libra, welcome to March. So Libra, there's not a lot of activity in your sign, but there's a lot of activity across from your sign in the sign of Aries, okay? Now, a lot of the planets are going to start making their move into Aries. They've been hanging out in Pisces for a while now. So we know the sun's going to move into Aries on March 21st, okay? That's going to be an opposition with you. So an opposition is when one side wants one thing, another side wants the other, okay? Libra, you're all about balance, harmony, and Aries, you're all about forward movement, fast pace, about the self-image, okay? So there's going to be energy pulling at you in both regards, regarding your relationship with yourself versus the relationship with others, okay? And that's always going on, but when there's planets in Aries, there's more attention there, okay? So this is going to pick up speed because things have been in Pisces for a while. And now that they're going to start making their way into Aries, we're going to have Mercury moving into Aries. We have Venus in Aries. We have the Sun in Aries. And later in the month, we'll have Neptune in Aries, okay? So a lot of activity for you. Now, you have a trine with Pluto. Now, trine is a positive aspect, and Pluto is a planet of transformation and change, and so there's a positive trine there. And you also have a trine with Uranus in the air sign of Gemini, because you're an air sign Libra, so this makes a trine, okay? Now, we also remember back to the Aries stuff, we're going to have the Aries new moon this month, and that is on the 29th of March, and that is with the solar eclipse that's going to bring us stuff. So I want you to take this time period to get really healthy, selfish, and start thinking about what it is you truly want. Not so much like, there's you, Libra, trying to balance and harmonize everyone. And across from you is Aries, that's about I am. And so you're going to be activated to start really thinking about what you want, okay? And when we get to that new moon in Aries with that eclipse that's bringing us something, we want to start to place our order of what we'd like it to bring us, okay? Now, remember, the Virgo full moon will be on the 14th of the month, and that's the great purge. So don't skip the purge part. Make sure you do the purge part, and then you get ready to make space for what it is that you are looking for. Now, Libra, you are ruled by Venus. And remember, Venus began its retrograde on March 1st. So your ruling planet is going through like its backward cycle. And so this is going to affect you greatly. You're going to be able to really look at yourself, the true you, all your relationships, especially your relationship with money and your self-value. So this is a really intense, incredibly transformative time for you, Libra. So take full advantage of this time to really examine what's going on, to get focused on what it is you truly want, and then to start bringing in change once these planets start moving into Aries. So towards the end of the month, you're going to start to feel very activated. Now, we're going to go into a card reading here. And what I've done is I blew up a sheet with all the zodiac houses on it, and that I borrowed from Teresa Reed, the tarot lady. She used it in one of her classes, and I blew it up, and I'm going to use it to place cards for each zodiac house for you so you can see what activity is going on. Okay, Libra, so I have placed a card onto each zodiac house for you. I'm using a few different decks here, and I'm going to walk you through it as we go. So, first house, Aries house. This is the house of your public image. This is the house of Aries, ruled by the planet Mars. And Mars is the planet of action and motivation. The first house is the house of your childhood. It's kind of like, it rules the head and like brain development. On this sheet, it says your physical body. I often think of the second house more as your physical body, but the first house is like almost like entering into your body, okay? Being born. And here we go. Your card is the Green Man, and this is card number 0. So this is the Fool card here in the Green Witch Tarot. All right, so we're starting off your journey here through these zodiac signs with the Fool, which is what the whole tarot deck is about, the Fool's journey. The leap of faith moving forward. Okay, so this is an interesting way to start off this reading. with house number 1 being a whole new journey here. Now, the green man is, my understanding of the green man is that that is the celebration of Beltane. That Beltane is the goddess and the god, or the green man, and I think it would be like the high priestess, I think there's another term that I'm forgetting. Something like the goddess. So we have this celebration here, right? Beltane is a celebration of spring ritual, right? And we'll be heading, I think it's in May. So this is kind of showing warmer weather. They're celebrating, and they're celebrating like the fertileness of life. Okay, so you've got something here about fresh energy, about connection with nature, about a new journey, a new outlook. Maybe you're making more time for the things that bring you joy here. Okay, the green man. All right, now we move into house number 2. Now keep in mind, I haven't looked at any of these cards yet. House number 2 is Taurus's house. This is the house, it's a Venus ruled house. It has themes of value. Okay, some people just call it the house of value. But we know that there's relationships are so important, our family, and so this is our house of values. And here we have the 4 of challenges. And this is from the Forest of Enchantment deck. I love the owls on the back of it. But I don't really particularly appreciate the word challenges. This is traditionally the 4 of Swords. This is the 4 of the mind, 4 of thought. And we see here this tree that looks magical. It has fruit on it when all around it is winter. Okay. So first of all, a 4 is a pause number. And 4 of Swords often is like somebody taking a nap. Okay. Resting, feeling overwhelmed. And so we've got here in the second house, your house of value, that you basically have like a giving tree. It's giving to you. It's harvesting. You'll be able to harvest this fruit even in the winter. Okay, so there's some sustainability here. There's some energy of magic, and there's almost like this rest assured energy. Like, okay, everything's okay, even when things aren't supposed to be really blossoming, yet they are. Okay, so I'm kind of happy to see that there in the second house. Also, a lot of green vibes, right? We've got a tree, and then we've got, and these are separate decks, we've got the green moon. Okay. Now, the third house, this is Gemini's house. This is the house of communication. This is the house about how you think and learn and communicate. This is the house of your surroundings, like your siblings and your neighbors and the people you work with, the people around you. Okay, it's your environment. And we have the 8 of Pentacles showing up here. So he's working hard, right? He's got all of his pentacles up on the wall. He's very precise. This is a card of hard work. Okay, so you may be just working a lot. You might be around people in the workplace more. 8 of Pentacles, hard work, keeping at it. So if this is how you learn and communicate, you learn hands-on, and you communicate yourself through the work you're doing. Okay. Now, the 4th house is the house of the home. This is the house ruled by Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. So it's a super intuitive house. It's the house of like your family, like your root chakra, like your, where you go to recharge. Okay. What energy is there? And from the Salvador Dali tarot deck, because Salvador Dali really wanted to show up today. I used my pendulum to choose these decks, and I had the Impressionist Tarot come up, which is one that I don't work with that much. That's very artsy. Okay, all famous art. And then I had this Dali deck back here show up that I picked up actually when I was in Spain. All right, so here we go. We've got the 6 of Cups here. This is a card of nostalgia. This is a card of 6 cups of emotions. And there they are. And there's like a brother and sister down there at the bottom, it looks like. And there's like all these like warm, fuzzy memories of childhood. Okay, so the home is feeling very much full of memories, almost like going through old photographs. Now, as we go into the 5th house, this is the house of Leo. This is the house of creativity. This is the house of romance and children because they have so much joy in their heart. And in your 5th house of fun, you have the Eight of Wands. This is your second eight that's shown up. I like that she's like laying out a picnic for you. I've heard this card called the honeymoon card before, but in this one, it just looks like an adventure, an outing, simple beauty. Okay, so making time for that. A lot of themes of nature, a lot of themes of like simplicity and beauty, and there's a place being set for you. Now, we move into the sixth house, which is Virgo's house, and Virgo is related to your health, your work, like your day job, your routines and habits, I think of it as a house of like mental health. It's your house of your contribution to society. So like service versus servitude. And with Virgo energy there, we have the Witch. And I love this card because this is the Magician. And I like to see a female version of the Magician. And she's just like out there cooking up her spell out there in her little outdoor fire pit. And more nature. Everything's like outside, getting down to the simple things. The Witch is here to tell us that everything and anything is possible. Whatever you put intention on and focus is showing up, okay? Fresh energy, has a lot of spring energy to it. It's very beautiful. This is a major arcana. So the major arcanas have more oomph. They're the faded cards. They're the life lessons we need to learn. So you have one showing up in the first house, the Green Man, which would traditionally be the Fool. And then you have the Witch here in the sixth house. So those are where the more powerful cards have landed. Oh, and before I forget, I was supposed to pull this one in the center. This is your theme card for the whole month. Okay, let's see what we got here. Major Arcana, the Wheel of the Year, or traditionally called the Wheel of Fortune. It's landing on Yule up here. These are all the pagan holidays. So we've got some reference to Yule. This is a card number 10, which, I would call a 1 in numerology. So you've had the Witch over here. You've got a 1 here. It's interesting that it's referencing back to Christmas. And we know we've been in so many retrogrades, so we've been kind of running the roads over those time periods. And so we're in a Venus retrograde, your ruling planet. You may be looking back at some of your spending since Christmas, or how much you overspent or underspent this year, and really and something about those themes, okay, as we're going through this Venus retrograde. So I'm happy to see the Wheel of the Year because, again, it is traditionally called the Wheel of Fortune. It is a Sagittarius card. It's ruled by Jupiter, the planet of luck and blessings. Jupiter recently went direct in the sign of Gemini. So we've got our luck and blessings moving in a more positive direction as we move through this month of your ruling planet Venus going through its retrograde. Now, as we move into the seventh house, this is your house, Libra. This is the house of relationships. This is the property that you own in the zodiac. Now, it says legal issues on this sheet, and I don't really like the word issues. I like to say legal matters because those are the ones we want, right? We don't want legal issues. We want legal matters. We want contracts and purchases and marriage contracts and property ownership and all that. So we have the Three of Challenges showing up here. This is the Three of Swords traditionally, and this is a card of some heartache. All right, so in the seventh house, you've got some old heartache coming up. It is your house. And, don't they always say, like in a Venus retrograde, your ex can show up? Or it could just be feelings about those times that can start to come up, okay? So, there might be some pain showing up. It's all that human stuff. And if you think about it, your seventh house is always across from your first house. So it's across from the Green Man, Beltane, which is a very sensual holiday, right? It's very fertile. It's very risque, right? So you've got this energy here of like some old heartache and then some new, fresh energy across from it. Now, we're going into the eighth house, and this is Scorpio's house, and this is a hot and spicy house. It's a wild house because it's Scorpio, and Scorpio rules all the deep emotions, sex, and on this paper it says joint finances, taxes, sex, and death. I mean, what a house. It's a spicy one because it rules sex, and it's hot and steamy because it's Scorpio and it's a water house, but it's like a boiling water house. Okay, so let's see what you got in this intense house. You got the Knight of Athens, which is traditionally called the Knight of Swords, and he's like full speed ahead here. All right, he's rearing to go. He's got things to say. So you may be speaking about some of the deeper things in life. Remember, we're going to be heading into a Mercury retrograde this month. So we're going to watch our words. We're going to watch the delivery of information. And so it looks like you have a lot to say. Okay, so just remember that. Maybe there was some heartache, and maybe if you get into it, you might want to slow down just a little bit because these times will be revisited and these conversations are not one and done. Now we move into Sagittarius's house of freedom. And this is the house of the higher mind. It's a house of organized religion. It's also the house of breaking free of organized religion. It's a house of publishing. It's the house of the teacher and the student. And it also rules foreign travel. You already had a Sagittarius card in the middle here. And you've got the Eight of Swords, Eight of Challenges. This is the card of thinking you're stuck when really you're free. It's a card of thinking a lot. And Libra, you're an air sign, so I'm sure you're an expert at overthinking things. Now, with the Eight of Swords there, the Eight of Swords is like when you feel stuck and really you're not, but you think you are. And you know who hates that more than anything is a Sagittarius. This is Sagittarius' house. So there may be a deep sense of restlessness now. Keep telling yourself that you are free. Okay? Keep repeating that mantra that you're free. Even though you may not believe it at first, just keep reminding yourself. Now, the 10th house is Capricorn's house, and it's the house of your career. And it's also the house of your long-term standing in this world. So it has to do with things like your legacy, your reputation. It has to do with fame and awards. It's a very grounded earth house, Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, the Lord of the Zodiac. And here you go. You've got the Council of Animals, card number 20. This is traditionally called the Judgment card. And look at that team of your guides just waiting there to help you out. They're full attention to you. And so you've got a team. You've got a team of people here, a team of animals here, a team of guides here helping you forward. And it's card number 20, which we call a 2 in numerology. So it's a relationship. So you've got a great team is what I'm getting. And there may be some things that you need to let go of because this is judgment, and judgment is about laying some things to rest. There may be some changes to your team, but you got a power team going. Now, that's a major arcana. So now you've got major arcanas in the first house, the 6th house, and the 10th house. That's where the pointer finger is saying there's more attention there. Aries house, Virgo's house, Capricorn's house. Now we're moving into the 11th house, which is Aquarius's house, and this is the house of new ideas. This is a house ruled by Uranus. It was originally ruled by Saturn until they found Uranus. This is the house of your hopes and dreams. It's kind of like newness, so it's kind of cutting edge. It's a house of friends and your social life. It rules large groups of people. And you have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords coming up. It's like a sickle, right? They use it to like harvest, I guess maybe the wheat. So there's a harvest happening. Usually the Ace of Swords is a new idea. Okay, but there's a lot here to be harvested. So there may be some new people coming into your life. There may be some new thoughts and ideas, but it's an ace, and I never feel bad when I see aces. Okay, let's see, you had a 1, the witch. You had a 1 with the wheel, and you have a 1 up here in the 11th house. Now, in the 12th house, Pisces house, this is the house, they call it the house of self-undoing. I like to think of undoing old karma, undoing old behaviors that no longer serve us. This is the house of secrets. This is the house of stepping away from society. So it does rule drugs and alcohol also, because it rules anything that takes us away. And we have the Keeper of Spells. This would be the Knight of Wands. And so he's got a lot of power there. He's learning how to almost harness it. Okay, there's a lot of power, and there's almost like this sense of it kind of churning. And so this is like almost like taking time to regather your power, stepping away. We know there's going to be a lot of activity for you as soon as all these planets march into the sign of Aries. So gather your power together, focus on what it is that you want to create. Okay. Take, take what the time that you need these first few weeks of the month to rest, restore, and kind of a little bit of grieving energy. Okay. But there is a lot of nature energy here for you. There is a lot of focus. And I think it's kind of beautiful. I just think you're going to be asked to deal with some deep emotions. And when you do, I think you're going to feel a lot better. Okay. And I think when these planets move out of Pisces into Aries, I think you're going to feel a little bit more like yourself also. Now, let me roll some dice here because I want to give you a little more information. And you rolled Libra, and you rolled the sun in Libra in the 7th house, which is Libra's house. Okay. So, oh, that's interesting. I was kind of thinking to myself, like, when are really things going to kick off for you, Libra? And I was kind of thinking that as I threw the dice. And it basically says when the sun moves into Libra. So when we get to Libra season in, what is that, October, end of September to end of October, this is when things are really going to click in for you this year. And I think that trine with Pluto is really going to help you out to bring in the needed change, the needed power. And so focus, remind yourself that you are free. You're not stuck. And what else? Get ready for Libra season and reflect back during this Venus retrograde at your money spending over Christmas and just kind of sit with it. I'm not asking you to feel guilt. I'm just asking you to look at it and be realistic, okay? And learn from it and grow from it. And because I know you want to bring harmony and you love being the gift giver, but I want you to really take a look at it, okay? What's truly important, because it really looks to me like the more simple things are really where it's for you, Libra. Okay, let me give you a couple power days. You basically rolled Libra and then you rolled Leo because the sun rules the sign Leo. So, power days. Well, we have the sun moving into the sign of Leo. The moon moving into the sign of Leo on Sunday the 9th at 6:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It goes through Monday the 10th into Tuesday the 11th and actually there till the 12th at 3:56 a.m. These are power times for you, Libra. Then you get again more power days on Friday the 14th at 2:59 p.m. through the 15th as we enter Mercury retrograde, through the 16th and until the 17th until 3:30 a.m. Have a fabulous month of March, Libra.